pleasant good evening and welcome to SAT TV's Channel 9 Evening News. I am your presenter, Nisha Charles. Thank you for joining us. Among the major developments, drug bust in Libya, Interpol arrest warrant issued for Turks and Caicos developer, climbers killed by Chamonix in French avalanche, FIFA development officer to visit Dominica. Details of these and other stories after the break.
Telecommunications Ltd has obtained the exclusive rights to the 2012 Olympic Games held in the United Kingdom, and these games are the largest in history to date. The impact of these games will bring millions of viewers to the television screen. Telecommunications is a supporter of the Olympics, and in extension, we support the sportsmen and the women of Dominica. Join hands with Telecommunications Ltd and support our sportsmanship. Gold sponsorships at $20,000, silver at $10,000, and bronze at $5,000.
Thank you for staying with us. Now for the details of the news. 5 teachers with the Canadian Teachers Federation are here to conduct a 2-week workshop in collaboration with the Dominica Association of Teachers. As part of the workshop, 5 areas will be covered: literacy, numeracy, early childhood education, special education, and food and nutrition. Mr. Francis John Lewis, first Vice President of the Dominica Association of Teachers, says that on an annual basis, the DAT and the Caribbean Teachers Federation host these workshops so teachers can gain new skills and talents.
You will see a thirst in terms of supervision, greater supervision. More challenges are coming our way, and therefore it is very important that we keep abreast with the new developments, the new methodologies. Since we'll be having more and more challenges, we need to equip ourselves, and we have persons who are new into the profession. It is also our responsibility as a union, as our motto states, to press towards true professionalism, that you in the classroom, you can do a proper and a professional job.
Mr. Stevenson Hyacinth, Chief Education Officer, thanks the principal and teachers for their commitment to improving the quality of teaching and learning at schools and ensuring the achievement of students placed in their care. The Ministry of Education and the Dominica Association of Teachers place a high premium on improving the quality of teaching and learning through training of principals and teachers.
This workshop, held a few days after the end of the school year, demonstrates your love and passion for teaching and your desire to remain current, effective, and committed to the teaching and learning processes. I wish to commend all of you, principals and teachers, for your hard work and commitment during the last term and for being here this morning.
He says during the new school year, he would like all principals, teachers, urban and rural schools to model a vision for excellence, innovation, and creativity.
I wish to suggest to all our principals to begin the school year by articulating a clear vision to your staff. The consensus has to be that every student can and should learn. This is in keeping with the ministry's new vision that every child succeeds. The vision is that all citizens at every stage of the learning journey, from early years to adulthood, are able to reach their full potential and be successful in life, at work, and in the society.
He says they are not only looking at education as a right, but also emphasizing significant improvement on the kinds of learning taking place at our schools.
An attempt to strengthen different facets of the operation of the educational system for ensuring the delivery of a more effective educational service and to achieve the goals and vision of the Ministry of Education. We will be placing greater focus on improving the quality and accountability of leadership and management in our schools. Every principal will be expected to adopt the vision, every child succeeds, and implement a strategic process that creates a teaching and learning culture that provides students with essential skills set to the various grades and form levels.
Mr. Owen Fortursky, CTF leader, is eager to work for quality education for all students and enforce the ministry's vision over the next 2 weeks. Mrs. Celia Nicholas, president of the DAT, says the courses offered at the workshop are meant to provide information and motivation to allow the participants to be significant contributors to students' education. She is grateful for the CTF's ability to continue to assist in these workshops.
They have experienced cuts from their donor agencies, and they have still decided to continue supporting the Dominica Association of Teachers. The reason for this loyalty, I don't think needs explanation. It is quite obvious that the Dominica Association of Teachers has met their expectation, and accountability of funds is impeccable.
Facilitators of the CAUSE Training Center located in Portsmouth will be better equipped after the 2012-2013 national budget, as Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit has made a promise to make a cash donation to the institution. The donation promise was made at a visit to the institution on Wednesday, July 11th, where the Prime Minister, along with the United States Ambassador to Dominica, His Excellency Larry Palmer.
But I would like to say to you, though I will not indicate Ms. Douglas, the assistance over and beyond what the government gives to you by way of a grant, but the Office of the Prime Minister will give a special grant once the budget is passed. And it will be, I am not going to be saying the amount, but it will be something that you'll be very pleased to receive. And I give you the assurances that you shall receive it, God's willing, before the end of August of this year.
Mr. Skerrit says that the funds will go towards the facilitation process in training more young persons.
These young people are not bad people. They're respectful young boys and girls who may have had challenges growing up and challenges of society and be victims of societal actions. And therefore we must never see them as bad people. We would like to assist them as far as possible, as far as they're prepared to accept the help offered to them. And it's important that we highlight, as the media, we're here, these very important things. What is happening in calls. All these people are volunteering their time, their resources, their energy to be here to facilitate the training there. All of the people who are on the board are retired public officers or experts or residents of the country.
Mr. Skerrit added that we as Dominicans should not spend time highlighting the negatives, but see what positives we can all do to improve the society we live in, as he commended the facilitators of CAUSE Training Center for the good work they are doing for the young men and women to better themselves.
I believe that there has to be smarter partnerships, and I believe that the Ministry of Youth Affairs, the Adult Education Department, and the Ministry of Education, all of them have staff in Portsmouth area. And I think they need to timetable their schedule such that they can become facilitators there also at calls, being paid by the government of Dominica to help in reaching out to as many students as possible. So this is something that I will have to discuss with the ministries concerned, and to get them to schedule calls as part of their responsibility to the state, because certainly you're going to need the help.
United States Ambassador to Dominica, His Excellency Larry Palmer, who congratulated the trainees and facilitators of the program, says that it was a good initiative when the government of Dominica partnered with USAID in funding the project for the young people. His Excellency Palmer added that he's going to work as hard as possible to get more aid money for the program.
Especially to our trainees, I just want to say how proud you made us today by coming up and speaking to us. You know, they did a survey. They took a survey of 1,000 people, and they asked each of them, what's the hardest thing that you have ever done in life? What is the hardest thing for you? And 95% of them said to stand up and speak in front of a crowd. So I just want you to know that you guys have really overcome that in terms of getting up in front of us today and speaking.
The visit was to check on the work done by the USAID-funded Agani program, Meaning to Win, where the trainees learned skills such as woodwork, outboard motor repair, and agriculture, among others, while focusing on academics. The Prime Minister, Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, and His Excellency Larry Palmer also made a visit to the Portsmouth Public Library, where a number of children's books were donated on behalf of the U.S. Embassy. The children were all happy as Mr. Skerrit read for them at the presentation.
The family is a flock of geese beating its way there and back again. What would it be like to stay in one place, to have your own bed, to ride your own bicycle? Anna wonders. Now that would be something. And it says there are moments when she feels like a rabbit. How many of us feel like a rabbit sometimes? Or a bird?
A bird.
And wish we could fly away.
The Prime Minister also advised the students that they should read every day to be knowledgeable, which will help them in the present and future.
This book is entitled Migrant. Okay? All right. And it says, there are times when Anna feels like a bird. It is the birds, after all, that fly north in the spring. And
a meeting was held on Thursday, July 12, where members of the Geotourism Stewardship Council gathered in regards to the Mont Wapito National Park. President of the Council, Mr. Apitan Martin, says this program was set up a year ago as a program to pull together persons from the 12 major communities around the boundaries of the inherited sites in Dominica.
The heritage site was inscribed, Mont Wapito National Park was inscribed as a World Heritage Site in 1998. And since then, there have been attempts to ensure that this very significant inscription for Dominica is protected, and most important right now, that we use it to teach the next generations of Dominicans about the importance of natural systems, the importance of nature, the contribution of a place like a World Heritage Site to Dominica, to Dominica's life and livelihood.
Mr. Martin mentioned that one of the major concerns right now is the advocacy, information and building public awareness about the importance of the inherited sites and its ongoing contributions to Dominica. He explains the purpose for the site and why it is important to learn about our heritage.
The World Heritage Site is something that was set up as part of the World Heritage Convention in 1972 by UNESCO to try to ensure that places of world significance, culturally and naturally, are preserved and protected so that future generations can look at those places, visit those places, can learn from those places why it is important to preserve, protect, learn about and understand heritage.
Vice President Mr. Marcus Thomas says the Mont Wapito site is not an ordinary inherited site.
For that matter, the word world gives us that top, that level, which differentiates it from the other sites. After much research, investigation, information by different scientists and persons of concern, then the World Heritage Site was certified. The Mont Wapito site was certified to be a World Heritage Site.
The 11th June 2012 at about 11 a.m., members of the Drug Squad and the Customs K9 Unit conducted an operation in Lubier where 165,710 grams of cannabis was seized from a house. One woman is in police custody and is assisting the investigations. Public Relations Officer Mr. John Carbon says investigations are still ongoing and they are currently seeking persons of interest in regards to the drug bust. SAT TV News will provide you with more information as soon as it becomes available. Wednesday, July 11th saw the official signing of the contract for Lot 2 of the renovation of the Roseau Cathedral. The project is expected to take 3 years to complete and total costs are estimated at 8 million EC dollars. Wendell Lawrence, chairman of the church's management committee, says all preparatory work has been done and now it's time to remove the roofing tiles.
This contract now deals particularly and only with the removal of the roofing tiles. And because of the particular nature of these tiles, containing some asbestos, and at some point I may have to call on Dr. Sami to give you some more details on that. Because of that, the diocese went out in search of a contractor that had all the qualifications and experience to deal with that kind of roofing material.
Because of the process that was followed to reach thus far, a major constraint is timing, and the project needs to be completed during the school holidays to minimize risk and exercise extreme caution. Most Reverend Gabriel Malzer, Bishop of Roseau, says that at the diocese the issue is raising funds, as this is key to helping them fulfill their plans. They have a balance of $2.8 million to work with.
I'm saying this to help us realize that the process of raising funds has to continue, so that once this part of the project is finished, the part of the removal of the asbestos, that the rest of the project should continue. There should be no stoppage in the process. So I'm really appealing to those who will be listening to this interview later, that to remain very conscious of the fact that we will continue to need more and more funds to help that project to continue.
He hopes that after this month of work, that Lot 3, which involves demolition and concrete work and recovering and sealing of the cathedral, will proceed. Mr. George Sami, environmental engineer, says that Green Engineering was chosen to work on this project because of their track record, and they know very well how to remove the asbestos tiles safely.
What makes it challenging is that it is on a very tall, very steep roof. So that while I know that most of the discussion has focused on asbestos, when we speak to the workers, we're actually speaking to them as well about their personal safety on the roof. If someone were to fall off the roof, which we have taken many steps to make sure would not happen, but if somebody were to fall off that roof, the doctors will not be testing them for asbestos. They'll be testing them for broken bones.
Once the tiles are removed safely from the roof, it will be dumped permanently at the landfill.
It's being put in bags on the roof. It's lowered off the roof into a staging area where it's put into bigger bags. That is loaded onto a truck. The truck is properly marked as to what it's carrying. The police have been notified, so that all those procedures have been put in place. The employees of Green Engineering accompany the truck just in case something happens, to make sure that no asbestos is going to be released. Once it gets into the ground, it is a permanent burial. There will be no exhumation of that body ever.
After removal of the tiles, the buildings will be wiped and tested to show that they are asbestos-free. This part of the project is scheduled to be completed by 31st July 2012.
Thank you very much. Before we actually open the floor to questions.
The 5th Annual Nature Island Literary Festival and Book Fair press launch was officially held on Thursday, June 2012. The book fair and festival began in 2008, and its aim is to interest writers and readers with a program which includes workshops, performances, and lectures presented by local, regional, and international individuals. According to Ms. Kimon Joseph, this year's festival and book fair is carded for Friday, August 10th to Sunday, August 12th. Head of the University of the West Indies, Dr. Francis Savra, says that getting students and children involved in reading and writing is extremely vital.
We take particular effort in ensuring that this environment remains green and pristine, so that it really engenders a very valuable, what my predecessor used to refer to as learner ecology. And it is in this context that we were very happy to partner with, to embrace, and therefore to play host to the Nature Island Literary Festival and Book Fair.
Dr. Sevre went on to say that Jamaica's Prime Minister offered the university a challenge on Wednesday, June 27, 2012.
On Wednesday, June 27, 2012, the Most Honorable Prime Minister of Jamaica, Portia Simpson Miller, in her keynote address in opening what we refer to as the UWI Regional Headquarters Building, which is an imposing edifice just outside the Mona campus. I had the privilege of seeing it and visiting it myself. She offered and posed a challenge to the University of the West Indies, and in particular the Executive Management Committee who was listening to her. And she said, this university must assist in safeguarding the hard-won freedoms of the people.
He said that she mentioned that the university needs to continue to strengthen and sustain the institutions of the government.
She went on to say, the university's continued viability is related to regional cooperation. In other words, if the UE does not help to mute the songs of regional disintegration, it might not be long before questions are raised about the need for a regional university. Integration is in our region's best interest. To add to that, to seek to clarify that would run the serious and tragic risk of yielding nilly. I will not. Suffice it to say that it is very important that we as university keep that in mind.
With talks of an increase in value-added tax, VAT, circulating, leader of the opposition United Workers' Party, Mr. Hector John, is of the view that any increase in VAT will further affect the struggling Dominican citizens, which is not what we need.
People continue to spend a dime and earn a nickel. Every month, people continue to withdraw to meet their expenses. Some people take small loans. That is the talk around. People take small loans from some of the small loan organization that is opening around the city right now to pay their bills. Small loan to pay your bills, and that is what's happening.
According to the post-2006 USAID-funded report on the impact of VAT and high energy costs on the tourism industry in Dominica, it states action is needed to reduce the impact of VAT and high energy costs on Dominica's tourism industry. Mr. John says this is a serious problem and the government needs to take a turn in the right direction by creating employment so that people will have more spending cash to circulate.
We have children in the rural communities who did excellent at CXC. Excellent, and by the parents can send them to school. Some of the children start school from September, and by October they drop out because their parents cannot assist them and to get that proper education that they're looking for because they don't have the economic activities happening in the rural communities. They are broke. The people in the rural, they are dead broke. And the government is not seeing that. The government, as I said, is one man, scary. He's not seeing that and continue to spend funds, scarce funds in places that we do not need them at this time.
The Dominica Hotel and Tourism Association is of the view that VAT is having a negative effect on the tourism industry. The DHTA reiterates its position and notes that with the imposition of 15% VAT resulting in higher prices of their tourism products and services, they have become uncompetitive. Compounded with the reductions in cruise calls and the limited and costly access, the tourism industry is in dire need of assistance. It stated that the enabling environment should be conducive to making business competitive and profitable so that their economic contributions can be sustainable. The DHTA added that with regards to high energy costs, it should be noted that Dominica has one of the highest base rates for electricity in the OECS, even with the hydro accounting for approximately 40% of the total electricity generated. We have seen regular increases in the price of electricity, with the cost for hotels showing an increase of 50 to 70% in the post-2006 two-year period. They also stated that tourism has a capacity to create more jobs than any other sector, and its critical function as the engine of growth for the economy must not be underestimated. We now join Deslin for tonight's court news.
One young man can now breathe a sigh of relief as he finally received bail. Danny Joseph of River Street, who was charged with grievously bodily harm of Omar Thomas in an incident that occurred at the Crazy Coconuts Entertainment Center at about 3:30 a.m. on Sunday, June 3rd, was bailed in the sum of $20,000. He came up before Roswell Magistrate Kanye Judge on Thursday, July 12th. In arguing for bail for her client, attorney Daniel Stewart stated that the victim injuries were minor and the police investigator told her that the charge had to be reduced to wounding. However, when the magistrate questioned a police prosecutor, Inspector Innocent Tuse, about the charge being reduced, he said he's not aware of any change in the charge. Offer Joseph, a local businessman and father of Danny Joseph, was a surety to post bail. Mr. Joseph is on bail for a high court matter where he was charged with murder, where he reports to the police station on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, so no additional bail conditions were added. However, Magistrate Kanye Judge wanted to impose a curfew but was persuaded not to by the defendant's attorney, where she said it would not be safe for her client if a curfew was imposed, but she did not go into details why. Before granting bail, Magistrate Judge advised Mr. Joseph to stay away from trouble and not to go to places where he can find himself in any more trouble.
Thank you, Deslin, for that report. And this has been the local segment of the news. Coming up next, regional highlights.
Support local. Support SAT Telecommunications Ltd, the people's choice. Join hands with us. Come and sign up for your digital TV connection today. We got the sharpest, cleanest, brightest digital TV connection. No antiquated analog service, only pure digital, and many new packages coming soon. With latest in sports, movies, children programming, and much more. So if you have your flat screen TV and you want to see quality TV, join now. Sign up today for your digital television. Support local, support SAT Telecommunications.